Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast blending soul and science-based strategies to empower pandemic moms like you, raising kindergarten-ready kids. I'm Cara Tyrrell, your host, a lifetime lover of littles, girl mom, early childhood educator, and conscious parenting coach who truly believes that how we connect and collaborate with our kids in the first 5 years is how we raise world-ready kids who will change this world. Welcome back to the Transforming the Toddler Years Holidays mini-series. Oh my gosh, Christmas is right around the corner. And today's topic is one that all of you voted for. It was the top topic that you said, please talk about this. Managing holiday expectations for yourself and your kids, particularly around gift receiving. This was the big request. You know, when all the gifts are opened, there's this letdown, this what now? Are there more? What do we do now? And so I'm going to explore this for you from a bunch of different angles, and I'm ready to get gritty with it. I just want to take a moment and say thank you to all the amazing conscious collaborative moms who did the 12 Days of Christmas Toddler Tips Challenge with me. It was so much fun. And we had so many successes of people proactively setting themselves up for holiday magic and avoiding those meltdowns. So thank you to all of you. You know who you are. It was a blast. All right, so let's talk about setting reasonable and achievable expectations. This is a core theme in my curriculum, my Transforming the Toddler Years course. That as parents, it's our job to know where our kids are at emotionally, physically, developmentally, cognitively, and meet them there, so that we're setting reasonable and achievable expectations for them so they can feel successful as they learn. This is a core theme. And so the idea that it is one of our biggest challenges during the holiday season kind of fires me up a little bit. Let's talk about why it's such a problem. We always start there, don't we? It is a huge issue because there are two things happening during the holidays with gifts. Somebody is giving it, and somebody is receiving it. And when we're talking about our toddlers and our preschoolers, they are primarily doing all the receiving, right? Think about it. Yeah, their preschool, their childcare center has them make really cute things for you, and they give them to you. But when you're talking about the art of giving, the heart of giving, it's all you. You're the one who walks around the store and goes, oh my gosh, they would love that. They're obsessed with that character. Oh, I've got to get it for them. In that moment, you are the one experiencing that dopamine hit. As soon as you hear yourself take that breath, or your shoulders pop up, or you have that moment of joy where you're picturing your child or your grandchild or your niece or your nephew or your partner, anyone. As soon as you have that moment and you're picturing that person receiving the gift from you, that is your beginning of setting an expectation for yourself. And boy, when we talk about kids, it can be really hard. They almost never meet our expectation for what we pictured in our head was going to happen when we hand over or they unwrap that gift. We get let down a lot because we created this image in our mind, a very America's Funniest Home Video moment where the child opens the present and they're shocked and they're in awe and they're in tears and they're just full of such raw gratitude. How many times has that actually happened to you when you give a gift to a child? Exactly. So the first step is setting yourself up for a reasonable and achievable experience in giving. All right. There's a lot that I want to get through here today, so I'm just going to keep trucking. Now let's talk about the receiving. Your child developmentally, between 1 and 5, is in a very egotistical growth space. They are. And this is not a negative statement. I'm coming to you from a place of science-backed stuff here, okay? They just are. In those early years, they have yet to flow and learn all of the nuances, all of the social norms that go along with sharing the space with others. And that's what those early years are for. That's why they go to daycare. That's why they go to preschool. That's why they're in kindergarten. That's why you take them to classes, and music and mommies and me's and all these. So every time you give from that place of, they're going to love this, and whether they do or not, every time they receive it, they're just on the one-way receiving street. People give me things. This is about me. So the more you shower them with gifts, the more you are conditioning them in that thought process and in that belief system. It makes me think of the opening sequence of, I think it was actually the very first Harry Potter movie, where Dudley, it was his birthday, and he woke up and he was, I don't even remember how old, but he started counting his presents. And his parents said, "What are you doing?" And he said, and I won't even try to murder an accent, "I had 50 last year. So just checking to make sure I have 51. We really want kids to learn from us in their earliest years that this receiving is a two-way street. And so it's our job to teach them that. When they receive the present, to tap into the acceptance of it, the gratitude of the receiving, the acknowledgement of it. I tagged on this in the gratitude episode of this holidays miniseries, if you caught that one. So one of the things that's happening for them every time they get a new present in their hand is that they're now getting that dopamine hit. Another present, different paper, another present, wrapping paper, another present, wrapping paper. It's like the game, right? Dopamine, hit, 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 and it feels good. And they just want it to keep going. So we don't expect them to give the same way, but we do expect them to show gratitude. Say thank you, say thank you, say thank you. And we think we did our job. They said thank you to Aunt Lucy. They're good. But they don't really know what or why they're saying it. So one of the things that I highly recommend is, no matter how old your child is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up, start young. Have almost done thank you notes ready to go. And then have your child be part of the process right there in that moment. They're too young for you to wait and say a day or 2 or 3 later, okay, it's time to write thank you notes to everyone who gave you presents. Right in that moment. Maybe you had a craft activity time with the kiddos before the holiday actually hit. Now's the perfect time to do it, right? Christmas is next week. End of Hanukkah coming up. Have a craft activity where you all stamp and make cards, where you paint and make cards, whatever it is. Make it a family activity and have them almost done. And then in the moment of true receiving, where they opened the gift, ask them, right, dear Aunt Lucy, you're going to write it on the card right in front of them. Ask them why they love it. And write that down and have them either write their name if they know how, or just scribble something and hand it right away. You want to build a clear and immediate bridge between the receiving and the giving of thanks. And if you do this over time, over holiday season after holiday season, you are going to be teaching your children this is a two-way street. And they will become really conscious gift givers too. They will stop and they will think about what that person might really like and enjoy. It's good stuff. Okay, what else did I want to cover in this? There's just so much. Yes. Need versus want. In the holiday season, we ask our kids continuously, what do you want? What do you want Santa to bring you? And then they start to parrot that back. I want this. I want that. I want this other thing. A strong conversation, teaching them the difference between things that we need and when those are appropriate and things that we want and when those are appropriate is such an important conversation to have from young ages all the way up. Oh my gosh, we used to have this conversation all the time. And then we'd end up at the store and the kids would reach for something and they would look at me and they say, Mom, is this a need or a want? But I promise you, the long lasting effects of raising a human being who is then old enough and managing their own money, when they go get the things at the store, if they pause and say, is this a need or a want? You have done your job. Okay, so you cannot have this conversation enough. Around the holiday season, you want to have these conversations. People will be asking you, what do you want for Christmas? Talk to them about practicals and non-practicals. You probably don't have a kid like I did. My daughter Caroline is the most practical child you'll ever meet. Her earliest Christmas lists literally had things on them like socks, tissues, and napkins. I have them saved in scrapbooks because they were just so darn funny. And I would say to her, these are things that we need. What do you actually want? She was so far to the need side. I had to actually pull her to give her permission to ask for things that she really wanted because she thought they were frivolous. Now, most kids are the other way around, right? So their list is going to be stacked with the coolest, newest, hottest toys, tech, all of it. And then you're going to come at it the other way and say, wow, that's a lot of things that you really want. What are some things in your life right now that you actually need too? And then I recommend when you put together the final gift plan, making sure that you have a bit of both. In our household, it became a little bit of a tradition, I guess, that Dad and I often gave all the needs and Santa gave the wants, and I was fine with that. That was cool. But there was a bit of a blend. And recently I found this absolutely hysterical typed note that I left under the tree. So in our house, Santa's presents were not wrapped, but from us were, and they were all under the tree already. And then when the kids came down on Christmas morning, Santa's presents appeared, but again, they were unwrapped. And there was a section for one kid and a section for the other kid year after year. So I found this note that I had typed, printed, and put under the tree from Christmas 2011 that said, Dear Claire and Caroline, thank you for the chocolate. I ate a few and took the rest with me. It was a welcome change from all the cookies at the other kids' houses. Our advent calendar, you add a piece of chocolate every day. And to proactively avoid the who gets to eat all the chocolate, I gave to Santa. I gave you many gifts this year to share as a family. Time spent together is the true gift of Christmas and every day of the year. Have a great Christmas day. Gotta fly, Santa. This was Christmas 2011. So Claire was 8 and Caroline was 6. And we had kind of hit that spot where the wants got a little out of control. And I wanted to reground them in the idea of what Christmas was really all about. And that's family and time and shared experiences. And so there was a big basket, something, and it was packed with family games and books we could read aloud together. And I can't even remember all the other stuff. And yeah, there was a few things for each one individually, but ultimately this message was, these are things that allow us to share time and space together in a really special way. And that's what it's really all about. Okay, last thing, I promise, because this is kind of the biggest solo episode I've done about the holidays, but it's so important. Even from super young ages, you are going to have to navigate the Joey got this and Susie got that and I didn't. Ugh. It already feels icky having those conversations, right? So you need to be super grounded as a family in knowing what your holiday values are, what your holiday goals are. Because the answer to those questions come from that place. In our house, it was usually around tech. Tech was brand new when the girls were little. Really brand new. They were non-digital kids who grew into the digital world. And a lot of families gave their 8 and their 10-year-olds and even younger these new hot hip items, iPods, then iPod Touch. See how far back we're going here? And I would always just say, in our house, we don't value each other by the value of the gifts. Now, that was a big statement for little girls to understand, but it was important for me to say it out loud. And then I would explain, right? Having the newest, coolest thing doesn't actually add value to who I am or who you are or our lives. Having the newest, coolest thing doesn't change anything about our family. If having that new cool thing matters to you, then let's work together to make a plan for you to start earning money to get it. But it's not a gift I'm going to give you because it's not in our core value system here in this house. So if you need a little help after the holidays adjusting, saying, you know what, I'm ready. I'm really ready to tap in, create that core value system, understand my intentions around gift giving and receiving and what the story is in our home so that we can really share those special moments together, just let me know. Just let me know. The next round of our Transforming the Toddler Years course starts in January. So now's a good time to think about it. I will share with you that I also, right after Christmas, in January was one girl's birthday, and then in February was the next kid's birthday. So we were in gift giving and receiving mode for 3 months consecutively. And so having this strong foundation mattered intensely. I hope some of this has caused you to go, oh yeah, I am ready. I am ready for next week. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to think about this. And maybe you will choose that you have bought too many gifts for right now for this one gift giving opportunity. Maybe you'll put some away for the next gift giving opportunity so that you can start having these conversations with your kids and setting them and yourselves up for really strong core memory making while successfully having experiences that don't end in letdowns. Have a wonderful holiday week. Until the next episode, stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years. Hey, Mama, you know that it takes a village to raise a child, but did you know you can choose your village? That's why I've created a virtual village for you with all kinds of like-minded mamas. They're conscious, they're collaborative, they're intentional. Their goal is to raise really good human beings who will grow up to add value to this world. Join us today in our free private community on Facebook. Use the link in the show notes and let's transform the toddler years together.